Hey everyone, welcome back. So this is going to be another tag video, tag response video I should say. And this is going to be my top 10, or at least 10 of my favourites, if they're not the top ones. But yeah, 10 favourite films that are feel-good films. So this started with Jamie over at Mukbang Movies, and I got tagged by... Who tagged me? Stuart George, so over at Stuart George's Home Movies. So thank you to both of those guys for, one, starting the tag, and two, tagging me in to do my 10 films as well. So yep, I'm going to go through these. Now, there's obviously been lots of lists out there, and I've watched quite a few of those, and I'm starting to think that you know, I was just going to end up with a bit of a greatest hits of all those movies from everyone else has picked, basically. So I've tried to keep it. There's going to be some crossovers there with some people, obviously. Some of these are just like, I've gone with different movies for different reasons. Some of them are like a slightly nostalgia based, make me feel good. Some of them are just like, they impacted me quite hard when I first watched them and made me feel good. Some of them, we'll just see how we go. I'll show you as we go through. So I'm going to start off with one that I have mentioned a few times in the channel, quite a while back now. Now, this one was one of the ones where when I first watched it, I just stumbled across it. So this is, obviously I've just shown it there, but Fighting for My Family. Fighting with My Family. So this one here is the story that a true story, which I had no idea about. Now, I have said a few times, I think that I'm not really into sports or anything like that. The closest I come to being into sports or watching any sort of sport is WWE. That stems from my childhood of watching WWF. But I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan. Like, I've literally seen a few, and then I've lost touch with it over so many years. But I can't remember how. I think I just found this on streaming somewhere at one point. And for some reason just hit play. And I had no idea what I was getting into. I just knew it was something to do with wrestling somewhere there, and The Rock was in it. Now, before I say, if you haven't seen this one, The Rock is in it, but for you know, you can probably count on one hand how many minutes he's actually in the film in total. It's much more of a cameo role in here. But I had no idea about this character. What's her name? Paige, I believe, which is a wrestler, was the real wrestler in WWE. So yeah, I just watched this one quite a few years back now. It really sort of like knocked me, you know, in my head. I just thought, wow, that was a impressive film. It's hard when some films, we watch so many films, and so many are just in that kind of okay category. So when one really kind of like has an impact on you in some way, shape or form, it just feels super special when it happens. So I had to pick it up on physical straight away. So yeah, ordered this one. It just follows her real life career, starting from, I didn't realise she was a British wrestler. So we started off in Britain, and she was basically, you know, from a quite poor family. So you got Nick Frost plays her dad in there. So yeah, she comes from a poor family. She wants to do wrestling. She ends up kind of getting... she's getting sort of scouted for. She ends up getting sort of like auditioning for the WWE, obviously the big American company, arguably the biggest wrestling company in the world. And yeah, it's just a real heartwarming tale of like someone coming from nothing, like a rags to riches kind of story, fighting her way, physically fighting her way and mentally fighting her way through the kind of like different hoops that you have to go through to get where she wants to be. I don't want to spoil anything with these movies, so I'm going to skirt around lots of the plot. That's the loose outline if you've not seen it. I'd say you don't have to be a wrestling fan to enjoy this film. You don't have to be a fan of The Rock to enjoy this film, because, to be honest, he's hardly in it. So check it out if you haven't seen it. Really good tale. It's, like I say, based on a true story. Yeah, that's my number one pick, or first pick, I should say, for my 10 movies or make you feel good. So these are in no particular order, by the way. I just kind of picked them off the shelf, and I'll just speak about them as they come up. So this one is definitely one that just like makes me feel good afterwards. Like, after I finish watching this film, if my belly's not aching, you know, my eyes have probably been streaming from crying from laughter so much. And this is one I watched as a young boy, as a lot of guys my age would have done, I'm sure. And it's just my sort of humour, and that is Dumb and Dumber. So, yeah. I mean, if you know, you know. There's just so many scenes in this. You'll either love or hate this movie, I'm sure. The toilet scene where he's sitting there and he can't control himself on the toilet, and the noises he makes. Well, after Lloyd's put loads of laxatives in his drink. Oh my gosh, I remember just like there was tears rolling down my face for ages watching that scene where he licks the pole on the ski lift and his tongue stuck to the side. When Jim Carrey kind of like anything Jim Carrey does basically, when they're on the motorcycle, like and he has to go to the toilet on the back, and he says, "Just go, man, just go." And when they get off, they're literally frozen together where it's solidified. Oh, and the little scooter they ride towards the end. The last scene when the tour bus pulls up alongside the road with all the girls on it, and they're like, "We're looking for two guys to help grease us up," and they just point them off down the road to the nearest town. Oh, it really hurts. It hurts so much to like laugh at this film, but yeah, that's got to be on my list. It just makes me feel so good watching this film, Dumb and Dumber. So this one here is another one which featured on a video of mine fairly recently. The cast then is Dustin Hoffman, which I didn't know he was in this film, and you'll see why in a minute, until quite recently. Robin Williams, arguably one of, if not my favourite actor, I think, of all time. Julia Roberts and Bob Hoskins in Hook. So yeah, for me, this was, again, another childhood staple. It literally follows, two young kids who have this dad who's a very kind of serious businessman who doesn't want to spend a lot of time with his kids because he's so busy. He's taking phone calls all the time. The kids are just kind of like they miss their dad. They want a dad that plays with them, and he's just gone. He's so invested in work and stress, and and then obviously one day the kids are taken and they go missing, and he has to go save them. Now obviously the twist on this is that it's all based on him being Peter Pan, and that he's grown up and he can't remember ever being Peter Pan. So Captain Hook has sent his guys to come and take the Peter Pan's kids in hopes of luring him back to Neverland, and battling him once and for all. So why this makes me feel good is when you see, I mean, Robin Williams just in general, like that face, like whenever I see his face and his smile, that twinkle in his eye just makes me feel good, and no matter what film he's in. But yeah, when he goes back to Neverland and he meets the Lost Boys and they're trying to teach him how to be a Lost Boy again, and they're just like messing with him. He's getting like beaten apart. He's taking all these hits from all these kids because he can't. He's trying his hardest to try and become, remember who he was and be a Lost Boy, but he's just like a middle-aged man that's getting absolutely tormented by kids doing all this crazy stuff to him, trying to make him help and remember. When they're doing the pretend eating the food, and there's nothing there, and then all of a sudden his imagination kicks back in and there's just food everywhere. It's all pretend food, but they're throwing it around. Just the joy that when he remembers who he is, he starts to fly again. Yeah, such a good film. I absolutely love it. It's definitely one of my favourite Robin Williams movies. So yeah, that's got to be on my list. Hook. Now, I might as well do these back-to-backs based on the actor. So we've got Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire. So yeah, I mean, this one, another childhood staple. So this one here, you just obviously not necessarily the most heartwarming of tales. It's obviously quite a sad tale about this family who's been broken apart, if you will, from a separation. But Robin Williams in this just makes it the most heartwarming it can be about such a fairly tragic tale about a family having to split up. But yeah, just him as doing the performance as Mrs. Doubtfire, it just absolutely kills everyone that watches this, I'm sure. The whole kind of he has to make a mask really quickly when he gets an inspection visit from that woman, and just dips his head in the cake. And he's melting all over the pots that are boiling, and he's dropping his cream in a cup of tea or coffee, whatever she's making. 1 lump or 2, dear, he says. Yeah, it's so good, so funny. And obviously the kids bring it home to that sentimental value of the kids being kind of really missing their dad, really wanting them not to have to split up. And I'm really glad that back then they still had the balls to kind of not just give it a happy ending of everything worked out, and he did all this crazy stuff, and therefore they all got back together, and it was happily ever after. They kind of stuck to their guns, and sometimes things just don't work, and that's what certain kids go through. So it seems pointless to sugarcoat everything that's happens in reality. So yeah, really, really good film. Always makes me feel good. Obviously, a bit of a, not necessarily the most feel good type of story in the middle of it, but yeah, always love to see Robin Williams in a film like this. So there we go. We're going to have another one here, which is pretty much a kids' film, but I'd be hard pressed to say anyone that doesn't like this one, Matilda. So yeah, when this song, was it called? Is it a little bitty pretty one or something like that? I love that song when it kicks in. She's doing all the telekinesis stuff basically. You just follow this sweet young girl who's like obviously got a really bad set of parents, and they, she's just super smart, super intelligent. And they just sort of like just completely ignore her, and kind of don't give her any support whatsoever. And she finds this kind of like really nice teacher, Miss Honey, at school, and obviously there's then the polar opposite, Miss Trunchbull. And just watching her grow up and like, using her telekinesis powers to sort of do things around the school and to make other kids kind of like laugh and things. And yeah, just a sweet tale, which I've seen since childhood, and now I share with my little one. So it always makes me feel good to watch this one as well. Now we've got some ones here that I've talked about quite a lot on the channel, so I apologise if I'm repeating myself a lot here, but I couldn't not put this one in. The Sandlot. So yeah, The Sandlot, I'll be as quick as I can on this one. If you watch the channel a lot, you'll get bored of me talking about it. Just such a nice tale. This young lad moves to a town, has no friends. It's over the sort of summer break period. Tries to make friends with these other guys that are around the cover here. They're all into baseball playing, but this kid has got no idea how to play baseball, catch or throw or anything. Eventually they take him under his wing, and it's just set in this like really old time sort of setting where they're just running around, in the summer, playing ball, hanging out, going to the local swimming pool, have this whole kind of story about what's going on over the back of this fence where they knock this ball over, and then the importance of them trying to get back to it. I love it. I'm going to not speak about it anymore because I'm going to bore some people, I'm sure. Another one, sadly, that I've talked about quite a few times on the channel, or featured on different videos on the channel. So if you don't watch my channel a lot, this may be new to you. But this was a nice surprise one again, where I just kind of like completely on a whim picked it up off of eBay because it looked interesting from the cover, and it turned out to be a really nice, heartwarming movie, and that is Indian Summer. So again, a bunch of, I think they're in their 30s possibly, basically a bunch of people in their 30s. So you've got Bill Paxton, Diane Lane, for example. They all received this letter through the post or for the mail in America, basically saying that this summer camp that they used to go to when they were really young is going to close its doors for the last time this summer. And the guy who runs it has basically said to them, "You were the first people that we had here on the summer camp before I shut up shop forever. It'd be really nice to invite you all back now, many years later, to be the last group as well." So one by one, they sort of come across from different parts of the country to come back and have one last kind of like, catch up together after being separate from most of them, I think, most of their lives since being at that trip as a young teenager. And what's really nice about the film, not just the setting where it's like all nice sunsets and lakes and calm and stuff like that, it's the fact that they come back and they're basically working through, whereas they went there as teenagers, they were probably working through different issues and like learning about life and stuff. Now they've experienced life and they've still got different issues. Their issues have just changed. So they're kind of still working through issues, but much more mature issues now. And this guy who runs the summer camp is sort of helping them do it in a sort of, not on the nose way, but just by being there, talking to each other, doing the things they used to do as kids. It brings a lot of things to the surface for them, and they kind of just work through it. But it literally says on the back, I think the last line on the description here says, "Pack your gear. This week at camp is sure to be a hilarious, feel-good treat for everyone." So it says on the back it's a feel-good film, so it's not just me. That's got to be on my list. Okay, so this is one which I don't know if many people have spoke about yet on this one, but for me, again, I saw this young. I knew about the hype for this film, like I knew it was a well-known film, and that is Billy Crystal, Meg Ryan in When Harry Met Sally. So, you know, as a young boy, young teenager, back in when I was a young teenager, to seek out kind of romantic films was not really the thing you go telling people about. It was more something that you kind of like, you might mention to a couple of close mates, but you'd expect a bit of bullying back for it. But yeah, I did. I watched this one on, I think, DVD as a young boy. And I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. It's about, obviously, most people would know Harry Met Sally, but these two kind of people who meet, and they kind of like, you think, oh, they're destined to be together. He's basically given her a ride, I think it is, or the other way around. They're giving him one of them's giving the other one a ride somewhere. And on this road trip, they kind of like, you know, he's trying to, you know, get with her, Meg Ryan's character, but she's kind of like quite a sensible one. She's got her head's kind of screwed on to some extent more than he is. He's quite more relaxed and just a bit more chilled out. They become friends basically, and it goes over time, showing them at different points in their life when they're meeting different people. They never quite hit it off. I remember Billy Crystal's character always kind of saying like, it's a line, something along the lines of like, boys and girls, or men and women can never just be friends or something like that. There's always something more there that's beneath the surface. And she's basically says, no, that's not the case. Like, men and women can be just friends. And yeah, basically you follow their kind of like life for a while, thinking, will they get together? Won't they get together? I love the line from Billy Crystal. It's a really random line, but I just remember him doing it was when he goes on about the pecan pie. But when he says pecan pie, it just makes me laugh every time. But yeah, Harry Met Sally, that's got to be on my list of feel-good films. Okay, we've got 2 left now, so hopefully I haven't miscounted those. I think it should be 10. Now this one had to make the list. So this one again is featured many times on the videos before. That is the original American Pie. Now this has got to be kind of a personal feel-good one, I guess, because I would have been the right age at the right time to watch this type of video about the guys that were a similar age or have just gone through it before I was about to, where you kind of get to the point in life where you obviously leave your friends behind, you step out into the real world, if you like. You know, young love's blossoming and stuff all over the place, or you're at least trying to be in that sort of situation. It's just about these friends that are kind of make a pact together, trying to look out for each other, but they just really care about each other overall. And, you know, it's just taking that big step from leaving school, leaving high school, college, and going into the real world. So yeah, it's just like for me, it's a heartwarming kind of tale. I know it's got lots of comedy in it and lots of like rude parts and stuff like that, but when it all boils down to it, it's just about, for me, it's just about friends growing up together and doing that scary thing of just going their separate ways. Yeah, and being adults basically at the end of the day. So yeah, this had to be on my list. And the last one, which hasn't featured for a little while, but it has featured quite a few times in the past on the channel, and that is Anthony Hopkins in the World's Fastest Indian. I forgot the title of it then. I think Jamie had this one in his. Oh no, I think maybe he either had it in his or he forgot and he mentioned it on a later video. I can't remember now, but yeah, I absolutely love this film. You know, like I think Jamie said, like Burt Munro, based on a true story, based on a true guy doing what he was trying to do here. This is another one I just completely found on a whim, like went into it not knowing anything about it, having no interest in motorbikes, motorcycles, not even knowing that's what an Indian motorcycle or an Indian was when it says the world's fastest Indian. So yeah, it follows Burt Munro, this like really charismatic kind of like you can't hate this guy. Like he is so like endearing and lovable. He meets all these characters along his journey where he's basically trying to take his old Indian motorcycle that he puts together himself, like patches up himself. He wants to race it on the salt flats, take it there, race it on the salt flats, and get like a chance at a world record, or like, you know, getting a good time at least. And it seems like everything's going against him. You know, when he's shipping his motorcycle, something happens and it delays him in what he needs to do. People try and kind of like rip him off at some points in the film. He meets all these kind of characters which, you know, traditionally wouldn't be characters that a lot of people would necessarily make friends with a lot of the time, especially back then when this is being recorded. But he, you know, doesn't see anything wrong with making friends with people like that. He's just happy to be friends with everyone. And he's, like I say, his character is just so funny, so endearing, so laughable. And the fact that this guy is he's the age he is, and he's trying to do this thing, and everything's going against him, even when he gets there, I don't want to spoil too much, but even when he gets here, he finds further problems as well. So I won't say any more than that. But if you haven't seen this one, and you like feel-good films, you've got to check out The World's Fastest Indian, not to get it wrong. Okay, that is my list of 10 feel-good movies, so I hope you enjoyed that one. Hopefully I haven't repeated myself too many times on some of these, but if they're feel-good films, I'm going to watch them a fair amount, right? So yeah, again, thanks for everyone for starting the tag, Jamie, and for tagging me and Stuart. I'm not going to tag anyone else. Obviously, it's a free open tag. If anyone wants to do it, feel free. I just feel like I'm getting waylaid in all these tag videos. I don't know where I'm at or who I'm tagging or who's tagging me anymore. So, yeah, appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. See ya.